Hey guys, it's Zombie here from Miruthan. Uh, we're 2 days off releasing our EP, our first EP called Cult of the Dead. I'll throw you over to Chris.
Beautiful, Zombie. Thanks for joining us today.
Good to chat with you.
My pleasure. So, Miruthan will unleash your debut four-track EP, Cult of the Dead, on April the 26th, mate. So, how are you feeling, mate? Like, debut EPs can get pretty unnerving. You feel confident? You feel nervous, anxious, excited?
I feel pretty confident. It's funny with the way this EP came around actually because I wrote a complete full-length album, and then I wanted something out sooner than it would take to record a full album. So I sat down and wrote a full EP after the album,
Okay.
but released that first.
Right.
What's funny is these songs are the new songs. The album was all written first, but the way we write it is all in story form. So everything kind of ties in together. Each song ties into the next song like a story, and then this is actually the prequel.
Right. It's actually pretty good thinking, bro. Like a new band coming in, you don't want to smash people with too much straight away. So a little four-track EP is probably a good like little teaser and introduce people to the band, and then you can hit them with a full length later.
Yep, yeah, that was exactly the reasoning as well. It was like, all right, let's not just show our full cards straight up. Let's do the teaser. Let's see what people think of it, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, beautiful. So tell us a bit more about Cult of the Dead from a musical point of view and what you were going for with it.
Okay, so Cold of the Dead is tiny bit different to the album. Songs are a little bit more elongated, so we have some kind of real ambient stuff in the middle. It's really meant to be like kind of like a series of TV or an old kind of storybook, gothic style storybook. So the way we kind of did this EP was I really wanted to extend that and not have it, for lack of a better word, hard-hitting rock songs or pop song kind of thing. Obviously, we're not pop, but that kind of 3-4 minute kind of thing. I really wanted to extend that and show what we could do on this EP. And I think being 4 songs, that's more. There's more real estate to do that, where you're not like, all right, this album's 180 minutes long, you
Yeah.
know. So that was kind of the idea of the EP, and yeah, so a little bit more to that story.
Wait, I've got to ask you, mate. Like, did you have those sirens like pre-programmed that just came into the background then, or was that
Yeah,
coincidence?
yeah, yeah.
Really well placed.
When I pick up my beer, the sirens just go.
So, have you reviewed the EP, mate? So I thought we'd do something a bit different, and I'm going to read through the review track by track, and you can tell me if I'm on the right path or not.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll start off with the intro. So it's got described as a pioneering force in the realm of dark folklore and black and death metal, Australian metal outfit, Miruthan are certainly not a band for the faint-hearted. But aside from that, I know little about these cloaked metal warriors, so what better way to get myself acquainted than by having a listen to the band's new EP, Cult of the Dead, which will infiltrate the masses in all its glory on April 26th. Opening with Survive the Blast, there is an eerie sense of foreboding that descends from the outset. The air thick with chanting and desolation before the guitars begin to swell more menacingly and the drums lurch into overdrive to usher in a deathly wave of harsh vocals that smother the landscape and commit you to an eternal pit of suffering, but in a good way. The layered vocals add to the uneasiness and depth of Miruthan's music, overlapping each other in a swarm of menace that is only ever lessened by the occasional spurt of guitars. The drumming is frenetic and intense, creating a sense of urgency in the face of despair that suggests resistance is futile. Whereas most music like this quickly starts to become an elongated mess to my ears, so far Miruthan have threaded the tightrope between destruction for the sake of it and that intended to accentuate the music as well.
Yeah, good explanation. Yeah, so look, the idea behind our songs, what's funny is, you know, we keep ourselves anonymous. Obviously, there's some close people that kind of have, this camera keeps changing, sorry, but that know who we are, but the general masses don't know who we are. Miruthan actually don't come from a metal background, which is going to surprise some people, and I think that shows in our music. There's a lot of punk background, there's a lot of blues, there's even country background in the musicianship in this band. So our writing, although I do majority of the writing, although I've wanted to do this for years in this style, this has been in the back of my head for many years now, and I think that's kind of why we come out swinging with these songs and with our kind of touring and stuff like that. But there's such a the songs are really kind of punk songs. I think we're as much punk as we are metal. And I think that's where maybe people like yourself, it's quite extreme end of metal, but there's just some different stuff happening in there, which kind of is keeping the listeners in there instead of like, oh, this is really just blasting my ears for 7 minutes and I'm not totally into that. Me, myself, I'm not either. So I really want it to be a landscape of music where it's coming in, it's like, holy shit, what's happening now? Then to pull back and go, all right, now it feels like I'm in a movie. Mm-hmm. Now it feels like I'm in a punk song.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're headed with the writing. And Survive the Blast, obviously the first song, I think, really has a lot of those elements in it.
Sweet. Okay. At the Barricades is next and fires up on the back of a pounding drum intro that is soon enveloped by the now familiar atmospherics that highlight much of Miruthan's music. A deliberately lazy slap on the guitar string acts as a segue into the more impending doom, with gang vocals atop fast as fuck double kicks providing a sense of escapism, or somewhat trying to escape the clutches of death. There is actually quite a lot going on here, and the intricacies of the music could easily get lost in the maelstrom of discontent. But surprisingly, I am keeping up, or at least I think I am, and enjoying the convulsing ride of decay that Miruthan are taking me on. There are moments in this track that feel like an incantation of sorts before a melancholy piece of music threatens to upset the status quo. This lasts only fleetingly, however, as the forces of darkness soon rise to quell this unwanted uprising with a frenetic war of sounds waging between drums and guitar. The bass intrudes briefly with a well-placed run that only seems to anger the demonic forces once more, who return to reclaim At the Barricades to its disturbing conclusion.
Great. So At the Barricades, in my head when I was writing this was, for lack of a better word, but something that more gets thrown around in the kind of punk realm and rock kind of stuff, was I really wanted to write a banger. Mm-hmm. I wanted to write something that that first song gets people in and they're like, all right, I can kind of see what's happening here. I can see what they're about. And then I wanted to hit them with, this is our version of our pop song. This is our version of all our cards on our sleeve, hard hitting, but still kind of not accessible in the way of, like, again, pop music or rock music, but accessible in the way of people can really listen to that and resonate, and it's done and it's done quick, and all the parts come in quick. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Into the Abyss washes to the surface with an air of ambience and relative calm as bells toll in the distance under a steady chant-like vocal presence that rises and falls to the beat of an unseen savior. Around him, the music slowly denigrates into an abyss of petulance as guitars swirl aimlessly, taking flight as an opposing force to the flashes of good that seem to be gathering momentum. Harshly whispered vocals ignite the turmoil once more, ushering in a raging beast of unrestrained ferocity who threatens to send any notion of goodness or healing back from whence it came in a screaming ball of pain. The vocals are harsh and unforgiving, creating a divide of sorts between this realm and the next, never once pausing to let more than a glimpse of sunlight in to pierce the veil of darkness. A wicked guitar solo enters the fray around the 4-minute mark, a stuttering, forceful slab of sonic disparity that acts merely as a distraction, while the forces of evil recharge their anger before spewing it forth with even more intent.
Awesome. I'm liking the way you are writing about our songs.
I'm reading back through that now. I did a fucking good job, didn't I?
You did a fucking good job. Yeah, well, as I say, the band read through this review, and I had them message me and go, "This is fucking awesome. Who wrote this?" Oh, so we appreciate that. But all right, so Into the Abyss is. It's funny you say winter as well, because that's the thought that I kind of had. I wanted it to be dark. I wanted it to be cold. Riff wise, is not too much going on in intricacies, so I wanted this really pulled back to rhythm guitar to be a nice basic riff instead of kind of overdone, but the lead guitar doing a lot of that swirling up and down, and that real black metal stuff, really going into that atmospheric stuff as well in this song. This is a little glimpse into some of the album as well, this song. There's with a full length, there's obviously time to do some more stuff. So this has a bit more of a glimpse into what we're producing with this album. So a little bit more ambient stuff coming up, but I think you hit the nail on the head.
Beautiful. Okay, drums and guitar lay the platform for Land of the Damned, ushering forth another sonic descent into darkness. I honestly have no idea what these guys are singing about, but you don't need to understand to know what's going on. A one-sided battle between good and evil that has the gates of hell winning either by knockout or unanimous points decision. This track features more guitar into play with a much cleaner and deliberate sound than on the preceding track. Suddenly the music retreats and the harshness of the vocals is accentuated significantly. They really are frightening and imposing, acting as judge, jury, and executioner in a war from which there can only be one victor. Vocals are threatening and repelling, but no match for an insanely vicious drum solo of sorts that is almost too quick to be human. Then the song pulls back once more as fiendishly intoxicating demonic whispers cover the sonic landscape before fading into the darkness, seemingly content with a lopsided victory. And that's what Cult of the Dead is, a musical victory of the darkest proportions. It is compelling, dense, divisive, and brutal all at once. And best of all, makes no apologies for being so.
Again, well written. So a couple of things you said in there I'll get to with the drums. So our only somewhat known member is our drummer. He has quite a following on Instagram and YouTube now as well. 1 million kind of views for some of his videos. This kid's 14.
Oh, dead set.
Yeah.
Fuck me, he's fucking good.
Yeah. He's prodigy be the kind of word, I guess, that we throw about. This is his first ever band. Not even kidding. So so it's good that was noticed. He'll obviously watch this review and be a bit happy with hearing about that. So he nailed the drum parts on this. This is his first ever recording too.
Did he write the drums himself?
He didn't. No. I write generally everything. I'm not very kind of what's the word? I don't tell people their parts though. I give them their parts and then they do what they will with them. So there is definitely changes that he's done, fills that he's done, changing up the beats and that kind of thing. So Land of the Damned is, you're talking about, not sure what we're singing about. So Land of the Damned was actually the first song on the album, but it got pushed forward to the EP, mainly because of the story. This is where we kind of find out in our folklore. You obviously read that we write a full folklore. The folklore is going to be released very soon in little parts.
Okay.
It's really, really quite in depth. We're literally writing it like a kind of a movie script, maybe a show script, because it's quite long. But this is where we kind of find out in our folklore, the world is fucked.
Right.
So it's kind of, as I say, it was going to be on the album, but story-wise, I was like, actually, you know, this would be a good way to finish up the EP, because we kind of learn, we've been through some shit in the first 3 songs story-wise, and we've learned that the world is pretty fucked out there. And it's kind of fitting to 2024. Right?
It is indeed.
And then I rewrote a song to replace Land of the Damned on the album. So I slipped in a bit of a story. So you'll hear that. We've also got the film clip to match this. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
You liked it? Yeah. So we have a bit of our own production house here. So we do all our own recordings, video, stuff like that. So we did that as well. But yeah, so that's kind of where Land of the Damned sits.
Great
Story.
Very nice, right now. For those who don't know too much about Miruthan, like, I haven't caught you on the way out the door to a 50 Shades of Grey party, mate. It's actually, this is the band to look like. He's a very theatrical band. He's a very, very in costume and stuff. So can you tell us a bit more about Miruthan, where you come from, your backstory? Like, I know every member's got their own name and backstory. So give us a bit of an introduction to the band.
All right. Yeah. So we kind of think of Miruthan like, if you're watching, say, The Walking Dead or something like that. So it's based around this apocalyptic world. The folklore was written, it started to be written before the songs were even written. I wanted this to be not just a band. I've played in many bands. I've toured for lots of years. I've done some big touring with one of the bands having quite a bit of success. So musically, none of it's new to me apart from the style, and touring's not new to me. But I really wanted to bring in this whole story. I really wanted to give back to people. You know, obviously I've done lots of gigs over my time, and I've had friends and fans and all that kind of stuff. And I really wanted to give them more than just a series of songs. So the whole folklore was written, and as I said before, that will start to be released very soon. There's the EP needed to be released first, and then the lyrics will give people a fair bit of insight into the folklore. And I really wanted people to have to do a bit of digging as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of like if what's that thing that people do where they hide and they geographically find these kind of I can't even think what that's called. Geocaching. Mm-hmm. Kind of like that, where people have to do a bit of digging, and there will be info for them to dig and find. And I just think for people that are really into this kind of stuff, to me, that sounds really fun.
Hell yeah. Even if you're not into it, it's fun, you know, like trying to discover shit, you know, play the detective.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of hide this stuff around the internet, and people will find it, and eventually people will find who we are. And, you know, we're not super, super funny about that. It's as tongue in cheek as it is serious. Yeah. You know, we're having a bit of fun with it, and we really play it up at the shows. So we hope that comes across not in a wanky way either. You know, I think you'll have certain people that are like, these black metal wankers, and, you know,
people like that you can't please anyway, mate. Fuck them.
That's right. Yeah. So we're hoping what we do is a bit different, and it's as much of a kind of theatre show as it is just a metal gig. So you'll have the people that just go to a metal gig will come and enjoy it. The people that go to theatre shows enjoy it as well, you know.
Yeah, very nice. And speaking of shows, mate, you're partway through a tour that continues on April 27th in Newcastle, then hits Tasmania, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Port Macquarie and Melbourne, and finishes in Sunbury on June the 30th. So how's the tour going so far?
It's going really good. Had some big numbers, had some good tour stories. We've had all the good things for a kind of a newish band. As I say, some of the guys have toured heaps, so they're used to it. Some haven't, so they're learning all the tour stories. But crowd-wise, it's been amazing. Had this guy, and we played Sydney on the weekend, and this guy was just on his knees bowing, like, and we're doing the full get up, so it was good. It was good fun. People are kind of getting the shtick, what we're about. So we're having a ball.
Sweet. And what can people expect from the live show, mate? I'm guessing it's going to be visually intense.
It is visually intense. It's I feel sorry for our sound guys because we've got 8 members on tour. 4 of them are vocalists. So, you're talking this kind of style of vocals, this dirty vocals. We have a choir section as well, but they also both do dirty vocals. So at times there's 4 growling vocals. So I feel sorry for the sound guys, but they've all kind of, by the end of it, they're like, that was an absolute head fuck, but I really enjoyed that. And so visually, we offer a heat to the crowd, and as I say, sonically as well, expect kind of a massive big sound.
Well, thanks for your time, Zambi. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you, mate, and hear more about the band. The EP, Cult of the Dead, is out this Friday, April 26th.